We have a beast of a fails video. Usually when I do my favorites and fails, at the end of the month, I'll just recall off the top of my head what products were my favorites and which ones didn't work out for me. But this month, I kept a tracker, and the second I knew something was a win or a fail, I wrote it down, and I've ended up with much longer lists than I usually have. But hopefully this video can be helpful and save you money. And if you missed February, oh my God, September. If you missed September favorites, I'll leave that video on the screen above so you can see all the products I've been loving. I did a lot of makeup, of course, but also I did a lot of skincare, hair, and perfumes. So nice little selection of things. And if you're new here, I'm Kate. I like to look at beauty products through a somewhat critical lens. You know, I do like maintaining a smaller makeup collection for a YouTuber, but I also like to be really thorough and detailed in my approach. And I share my unfiltered thoughts when it comes to my relationship with products and brands. So if you're someone who's really sick of sensationalized, overhyped content, then I hope my channel can be a little bit of a comfort space for you. And I hope you'll subscribe. And now let's get into the first fail. I'm gonna say with my whole chest that this is the worst base product I have ever tried. And I'm pretty surprised by it. It's the somewhat new bareMinerals Complexion Rescue Matte. The original Complexion Rescue was a little dewy for me, although now that my skin's a little bit drier since I last tried it a few years ago, I might actually like it. But the matte one is nothing like you would think it to be. It feels in texture to be the same as the original bareMinerals Complexion Rescue, like tinted moisturizer. But oh my God, when it's on the skin, it just becomes a disaster. It sits on top of the skin, it pills, it just settles into every pore, every hair follicle on my face. It is by far the most unflattering like foundation product I've ever tried. And I'm so sad about it because the original Complexion Rescue, like I said, was just a little bit too dewy for me. And I really wanted a matte version because it sounds like something I would love. I do love when my skin has a little bit more of a mattified appearance so that then I can add a little glow wherever I need it. But this is just a mask that sits on the skin. It's terrible. I've tried this. I basically had like a really horrible makeup week and was just struggling throughout the entire week because I had to film content doing wear tests and reviews for this on YouTube and Instagram, and every day it just ruined my day having to wear this. And also because I'm committed to transparency here on this channel, bareMinerals did ask me to do an ad for this product and the next base product I'll tell you about that I really didn't like, but obviously I had to turn down the ad because I didn't like the product. So I will never ever put my bottom line and, you know, my income over authenticity and honesty on this channel. So, you know, hopefully I can work with them in a different capacity in the future. But on this one, I would say save your money. I also went to the Sephora reviews and I found a lot of people who said the same thing. So yeah, seems like this one's a bit of a miss. The product that bareMinerals actually really wanted me to do an ad for is their original Pure Serum Radiant Natural Liquid Foundation. This is similar in consistency to something like the Fenty Ease Drops, you know, a cross between like a serum and a foundation. They tend to feel a little bit more viscous. And while this definitely performed better on me than the matte Complexion Rescue, this just, it also emphasized texture like nobody's business. It didn't like sit on the skin like the Complexion Rescue Matte, but this one just emphasized texture and it looked horrible, especially around my chin and my nose. And you know, there are so many foundations that don't do that for me. It's not even worth getting it to work. So between this and the Complexion Rescue Matte, my whole week was just ruined because when you're a content creator, you do batch content, meaning you try to film as much as possible at once so you don't have to film every single day. And on top of my full-time corporate job, it's so difficult for me to get all my content done. So I've been wearing those two base products every day and then realizing they look so bad on camera that I couldn't film any Instagram reels, couldn't do anything unless I showered off my entire face. So that was a bit of a bummer. And now I'm like resentful towards these products. But I don't know, if you got these to work for you, let us know. We all have individual experiences and preferences, and everything with beauty and our experience with these products is subjective. So always take that with a grain of salt. Next, let's talk about the Saie Hydrabounce Glossy Lip Oils. I decluttered all the shades and sent them to my friend Dev so that she could review them on her Instagram page. Unfortunately, these just really didn't work out for me. First of all, the taste of castor oil is incredibly strong in these glosses. Not as much of a smell, but it's really a taste. And the taste of like rancid castor oil is just not an experience I want with a lip product. I have heard from some of you guys that that didn't bother you and you didn't notice it at all. And I've heard from others that it was like the grossest tasting lip product you've ever ever tried. So again, it's all subjective. But if you're sensitive to taste and smells like I am, then maybe skip this one. I also found that these just dried my lips out. After the Saie Glossybounce lip oils had worn off of my lips, I just felt like my lips were parched. And that's definitely not how you want to feel after you wear a lip gloss, especially one that's supposed to be really hydrating. I did enjoy the fact that they are supposed to be this kind of like your lips but better flush, but I would have preferred more pigment because they all ended up kind of looking the same on the lips except for the two darkest shades. And I really enjoyed that they had this kind of, not thick, but this slight plushness, this slight cushiony quality to them, but it was also so oily from that high castor oil content that I just found it to be really slippery and thin. And I think you can see in the B-roll clips that the product really slides outside my upper lip line. And that's something that I look for in a lip product. If it's doing that, then it's not gonna be a product that I ever reach for. So I'm very glad that I decluttered all of them. Ooh, let's do hair. Okay, I have a little bit of a rant. Kind of. This is the Color Wow Extra Large Bombshell Volumizer. I have never been so duped by a product in my entire life. You go to the Color Wow Instagram page and it's everybody using this and the Raise the Root spray and then one like glossy product. And they apply this in their hair and they'll blow dry it and this side of their hair will be like massive and then this side is super flat. This does not do anything except add a little bit of grease to my hair. I don't know if I'm using it wrong. Some people in the Sephora reviews said that you have to pump practically like a quarter of a bottle every time you use it in order to get the amount that you want, but who's gonna wanna pay that price to run through a bottle that fast? But I just found that it really weighed my hair down. It looked greasy. It made my hair have less volume than if I just hadn't used the product. I find it misleading when you go to an Instagram page from a brand and you see all of these like super hyped, sensationalized reels where the person will apply the product and they'll be like, oh, do you see this? And it's so dramatic and it really grinds my gears. But it's effective. It's an effective marketing strategy. It sucked me in and that's why I purchased this. And it does nothing. Does nothing. However, I will say I also bought their Raise the Root like thickening spray because that had similar reviews on their Instagram page. And I did end up enjoying that one. I do notice a bit of a lift with my roots. I'm just kind of figuring out how best to use it. So I haven't included it in a favorites video yet. I'm really bad at hair. So I'm not good at styling. And a lot of times when I try hair products, I think that the issue might actually be me in the way that I'm using them. So I don't really tend to talk about hair products on this channel a lot unless they're very easy to use or it's a very clear win or a fail. So stay tuned on the Raise the Root product, but I'd be curious if you've tried the Color Wow Extra Large Volumizing Bombshell Mousse, if that worked for you. Another product I was really interested in, and I'm glad they had a mini, is the Living Proof Full Texturizing Foam. You know, I wanted this texturizing foam to work and be something I could just put into damp hair and have it be not very drying. But ultimately for me, I have just found nothing works as good as just some basic sea salt spray to give my hair some texture, and then the Oribe Dry Texturizing Spray. This, I actually have it in my hair from last night. It doesn't do anything. It also makes my hair feel a little bit greasy. And when you're someone who has such thin, slippery hair, and when you have not much hair either, it means your hair gets really greasy really fast. This just didn't do anything. I feel like the Color Wow Bombshell Mousse made my hair actually look worse. This just didn't do anything at all. So I'm glad that they were just minis and I didn't have to waste my money on a full size. I've also been using and hating this Josie Maran Nourishing Argan Oil Daily Cleanser for all skin types. I feel like last night was the first time I used this and I actually liked it, so I don't know what's going on there, but this is one of the weirdest formulas I've ever tried. So first of all, you would expect for a cleansing oil that you only have to do like 1 or 2 pumps, right? To cover your whole face and neck. This says to use 3 to 4 pumps, which is a lot of product, but there's a reason you need to do that. This is the least spreadable cleansing oil I've ever tried in my life. If you just do 1 or 2 pumps of this, it'll just stick to your skin and it will not budge. So you basically have to saturate your entire face with the cleansing oil, then you can add water and you can start to emulsify it and break it down, and then you can rinse your face clean, and then my face feels really great. But it's so not spreadable, it's bizarre. It goes on feeling like glue on your skin, like you can't spread it. It's the weirdest thing. And then because you have to use 4 pumps to cover your whole face and neck because it's so not spreadable, this I've used up in almost 2 months. So there's so many better first cleanse products out there. Also, I do do find that Josie Maran skincare products have way too much fragrance in them. Renee rouleau sent me a big PR package that I'm slowly working through, and I mentioned a ton of products in my favorites video, but the one that did not work for me is I think the one that they're most known for, the Triple Berry Smoothing Peel. I don't get this. It says it's a professional strength chemical peel. This did nothing. And I also hate the texture of this. It feels like berry jam. It's just like mashed up berries, like that jelly, squishy, mushy, slippery, chunky texture of like if you just mashed up a bunch of berries. It made my bathtub like covered in berry peel or whatever is in here by the end of it. I did not like it. Also, I felt absolutely nothing, and I have very reactive, very sensitive skin, and I have to be very, very careful with chemical exfoliants, even wash off products. And this just did nothing. I felt no tingle. I felt nothing. My skin wasn't any different. And then this morning I woke up covered in acne all along here. I'm not saying that it's the Triple Berry Peel's fault, but usually when I wear like one of my masks that helps to exfoliate or that helps to reduce breakouts, I wake up the next morning and my skin looks a little bit better. Today, I woke up and my skin is just covered in acne all over my chin. So this product, yeah, I don't think it does anything. I can't believe they say that's a professional strength peel. That felt like I literally just mashed up berries and put it on my face. I don't get it. I need some of my IBS girlies to commiserate with me for a second here. I drank a coffee for the first time in a year and a half, and I am like holding on to my ass right now. Like I am sick from that one cup of coffee, and I am never doing it again. Oh, okay. I've already returned this next product, but it was Boy Smells Vanilla Era, and I bought a little travel size on Sephora because I wanted to review it for my upcoming vanilla perfume video where I bought like 40 vanilla perfume samples and I'm gonna compare them all. One day I'll do that video. It's so much work that I'm putting it off. But Boy Smells describes this in a way that is very interesting to me. So the full size perfume is $98 and the 10 milliliter size is $30. And the website says, "This is your vanilla era. Embrace it. A scent of innocence and subversion where vanilla is anything but beige. The correctness of vanilla absolute and white tulips interlude with riotous black amber, elusive ISO super, and spicy coffee bean absolute. Heads will turn, hearts will break as the scent reigns for days, months, and years." Oh my God, perfume companies are so dramatic. I love it. It makes me so happy. This was such a head scratcher for me. This is like the least vanilla fragrance I've ever smelled. If you're gonna call a perfume vanilla era, there better be some goddamn vanilla in it. There's not. It literally just smells like musk. Like amber and musk, which you can get in like 100,000 other perfumes. They say that the notes are white tulip, black pepper, Madagascar, frankincense, saffron, cashmere wood, ISOE super, beetroot, black amber, coffee absolute, vanilla absolute, and papyrus India. Truly though, I just smell amber and musk. That's it. It's like so sharp and astringent. It makes you wrinkle your nose when you smell it. And if you go and look at some of the Sephora reviews, of which I think I posted one, and if you click the verified purchases and non-incentivized reviews buttons, which you should always do on Sephora reviews so you can skip all the incentivized reviews, you'll see that a lot of people said the same thing. It's not the kind of fragrance you want to blind buy, and there's no vanilla, so I'd skip it. Let's talk about the Naked Sundays SPF 50 lip oils. These are a chemical sunscreen in a lip oil, and they come in 4 different flavors with 4 different tints. Now, this is a reformulation. Previously, consumers had given them feedback that the chemical sunscreen taste was just way too strong, so they reformulated it and said that there is virtually no chemical sunscreen taste. I remember reading that. The website says like very strongly, virtually no taste. And I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely incorrect. I can taste the chemical sunscreen in all 4 of these, but some of them are better than others. I would say if you really want to try these, the one that has the least chemical sunscreen taste is the coconut one, which is clear. So that would definitely be my recommendation. The one that was the strongest chemical sunscreen taste that I would for sure avoid, they actually don't put the shade name on them for some reason, but the watermelon was gross. It was like I had to take it off within 10 seconds of applying it. It was really strong. And then cherry pie and salted caramel are somewhere in between the two. The chemical sunscreen taste of these I do notice, and I especially notice the taste once the fragrance dies off. But for coconut, it's just very subtle the whole time. So unfortunately, if you're sensitive to chemical sunscreen or you're sensitive to tastes and smells in general, I'd probably skip these. Let's talk about some trash eyeshadows. And we're gonna start with the worst eyeshadow eyeshadow I have ever tried, and these are the Wander Beauty Wandering Eyes Shadow Sticks. Now, Wander Beauty has since messaged me because I did a review of these on Instagram. I'll leave it on the screen above, and they DM'd me, "We greatly appreciate your honest feedback on our shadow sticks. We are actively looking to resolve this formula inconsistency." So apparently a lot of people got the shadow sticks that performed like this, but some people got them in the way that they were supposed to perform. I don't really know what happened. Seems to be an issue with the manufacturer or something like that. But I think you can see in the B-roll clips I was not very thrilled with the way that these performed. There was no pigment, there was no payoff, no creaminess. These are dry. They feel like kid makeup, like when you buy a child makeup. Not that that's something I do because I don't have any children in my life, but I'm just imagining if I were to buy a kid makeup, I would want something that like doesn't even show up. And that's what these are. It just feels like makeup you bought from Claire's, or it feels like an eyeshadow crayon that dried out 10 years ago and you just found like in the back of your car that you accidentally had in college. You know, like it feels like a mistake. So I'm interested to see what happens when they resolve the issue with the formula inconsistencies, because I do think that these are beautiful colors, very on brand for Wander Beauty, and I would be very much interested in the shades, I think, if they were able to figure out the issue. And the bizarre thing about this experience is they swatched on my arm really easily, but they don't go on the lids. And I tried everything. So you know how we talked about in the beginning of the video how I had such a terrible week because of all the horrible makeup and I couldn't film any content because my makeup looks so bad every day. I was also doing a wear test of all 4 of these this week and they just ruined every single makeup look every day. And I tried these because they swatch on the arm, but they don't apply on the lids. I tried them with my normal skincare routine and my sunscreen. I tried them with just a moisturizer to give a little slip to the lids. I did everything I could this week to try to get these to work. Clearly there's just something up with these. So I would hold tight and not purchase them until the issues with the inconsistencies are resolved. Speaking of inconsistencies and potential issues with manufacturers, I also tried the Colé liquid eyeshadow in the shade Harlem. I have since returned it because mine showed up with no product in it except for a little bit at the opening. And I'll put in some pictures here that I filmed on Instagram. You can see straight through the tube. There's no product in there. And I originally reached out to Colé and I was a little bit disappointed by their response. They told me to just squeeze the tube and I'll be able to coat the doe foot applicator better. But I DM'd them back and I was like, guys, it is literally empty. There's no squeezing the tube that's happening here because there's no product. So I was a little bit annoyed that they like didn't listen to my feedback at first. I sent them pictures. I showed them that, you know, it wasn't applying on my hand. I showed them that the tube was empty and they were just like, squeeze it. So that was a little bit annoying. And then sounds like a lot of people gave them that feedback because then they DM'd me and they DM'd a few of my influencer friends who said the same thing. And they said, hey, we've realized that this might be a widespread issue and we're investigating this with our manufacturer. So, you know, what are you gonna do? That being said, the formula I was able to try was one of the hardest liquid eyeshadows I've ever used. And I've spoken with a couple content creators that are like experts at blending liquid eyeshadow, and they said that they returned this product immediately. It is so drying. It dries down literally in 5 seconds. So you apply it, and before I can even put the doe foot applicator back in the tube, it would already set. So then you can't blend the product. It ends up looking super patchy, and it also dries down so fast and like so hardcore that your skin just looks really dry. So they definitely made a budge-proof liquid eyeshadow, but it's a little too budge-proof. Okay, the next one is an eyeshadow that was just okay, but it is a fail. The Fenty Beauty shadow sticks were a real bummer for me. The shimmer ones I got were Frizzy Frosé and Get On Taupe, and I'll show you the application clips of those here. First of all, Get On Taupe was like a nice, light, you know, silvery, champagne-y kind of color, way too light for what I was expecting. And also it seems more like a silver, whereas I thought it was gonna be a taupe. For me, a taupe has a little bit of a purple quality, or a little, I don't know, like a cross between a silver and a mauve, or a silver and a purple. But that's just me. And then I'll show you the shade Frizzy Frosé, which I also paired with one of the matte ones in the crease. And the shimmer shadow sticks are so creamy and emollient that they don't even stick to my eyelids. Like they don't even stick, even with a primer, to the parts of my lids that are slightly hooded. It just slides right off. So it's creasy within 10 minutes. Therefore, the shimmery ones, I say confidently that you should skip. The matte ones are a little bit better. They are just very dry. And so they're so dry that if you just like swirl a brush around on top, you will not get any product on them. Oh my God. My friend Rachel of the Skincare Standard just got engaged. She's so pretty. Whew, okay, I am full body sweating through my shirt. I was screaming so loud on our group FaceTime. I don't know where I was, but I think I was talking about the Fenty matchsticks, and now I'm very distracted. So I'll just say that these are very dry, and because they're dry, they're very difficult to blend. They're super patchy. Oh my God, it's so hard to talk about makeup after my friend just got engaged. Eee! Oh my God, I've got the zoomies. Anywho, skip them. There's better products. Whew, full body sweating. I got the zoomies. I'm so excited. Oh, can't wait to go to that wedding. That's gonna be a fun one. Okay, let's talk about a fail that made me so irrationally angry. This is Nette's candle in Midnight Strike, and I was really excited about it because it says, "Find me by midnight," she said, or so the legend goes. "I'll wear my heart on my sleeve and glass on my toes. I'll carve our hearts in pumpkins, etch our names in stone, bend the laws of time just to call you my own." So this candle is supposed to be primarily almond butter, pumpkin, and tobacco leaf. And I smell almost none of those things. There's definitely a little bit of that pumpkin quality to it, but I mostly just smell pumpkin, a little tiny hint of tobacco, and then mostly florals. So this is just not the scent profile that I was expecting. I believe it's $78, and that's really expensive. Normally the candles I buy are no more than $54, and for me, even that's splurging. But the thing that just pissed me off about this candle is that this is a luxury brand. Like most their candles are $82. The label is crooked. The freaking label is crooked. How are you gonna sell me a candle that's almost $100 and you can't even put the label on straight? Ugh. That's also something that makes me so mad about bareMinerals candles. Their labels are so thin that they always end up being crooked or they really bubble everywhere. I'm like, how are these luxury candle brands getting away with providing an experience that is not luxury? Blows my mind. Also, this doesn't have any throw when you're actually in the room with it, but you'll smell this like down the hall, which is weird. I'm not sure why that happens. And it just smells like pumpkin and florals. So all in all, quite a disappointing experience. I do like Sunday Chest from the brand, but you know, that's not a very unique scent. You could find a nice kind of like vanilla gourmand candle anywhere at a much lower price point. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be buying from this brand again. Okay, the rest of my fails are perfumes and concealers. So I'm gonna start with Skylar's Boardwalk Delight. So they sent me a PR package with a bunch of different fragrances, and 2 of them made my September favorites video, so check that out. But one of the ones that didn't work out for me is Boardwalk Delight, and it's just a little bit too sweet. It's not like it's a bad fragrance or anything. It's just too sweet for my personal preference. The notes on the website are aquatic accord, watery apple. Is that a thing? Watery apple? So many questions. Anyways, juicy raspberry sorbet, water lily, guava flower, coconut milk, cotton candy, vanilla, solar amber, and musk. To me, this smells like spoiled fruit, cotton candy, and musk. There's something, yeah, there's like a spoiled fruit quality to it, that like sourness to it that I find like really off-putting. And then the cotton candy is just too sweet for me. So I know a lot of people who really love this, but not my kind of thing. Skylar also sent me Fruitful Bliss, and the notes are pink currant, mamey sapote. Oh, cool. It's the species of tree native to Mexico and Central America. It's also cultivated in the Caribbean, and it's a fruit eaten in many Latin American countries. Yum. How do you say it? Mame sapote. Oh, I got that one wrong. Oh no. Mame sapote. Okay. So this has pink currant, mame sapote, apple, dahlia, jasmine blossom, rose petals, vanilla custard, sandalwood, and amber. Oh my God, I sounded so white. That was horrible. But the primary notes here are dahlia, apple, and mame sapote. Unfortunately for me, this is just nothing special. It's not that I like dislike it. It's just all I smell is, oh, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the green apple perfume from, I think it was DKNY back when I was growing up. Like it smells nice. There's this juicy apple quality to it. I always really love an apple note. On top of the apple, there's like some florals. It just seems pretty simple. It just seems pretty one-dimensional. This one also gives me a headache. I'm not sure why. So just not my favorite from the brand. Then at Sephora, I got a little sample of Peach Fields, and I feel similarly about Peach Fields that I do about Fruitful Bliss. This also just seems very one-dimensional to me. The notes are mandarin, grapefruit, white peach, osmanthus, muguet, vanilla, cashmere woods, amber, sandalwood, and musk. Peach, musk, and florals. Yeah, it's very basic. It's not very me, too musky, too florally, and the peach is hard in perfume for me. Peach can come across like really saccharine, and it can also smell really chemically to me. I have yet to find a peach fragrance that doesn't give me a headache. So this one I will be passing to a friend. I also got a little sample of Diptyque's L'Eau Papier. The notes are white musks, mimosa, blonde woods accord, and rice steam accord. White musks take on the aspect of a second skin. L'Eau Papier Eau de Toilette celebrates the power of imagination. On a blank sheet, ink infuses, shades emerge, and new worlds are invented. This kind of fragrance is definitely the antithesis of what I like because it's very musky, but there's a lot of like white florals. It's the kind of fragrance that for some reason makes me feel really nauseous when I smell it. I don't know if that's a normal reaction. To me, this is very much a springtime fragrance. It's very light. It just smells like white florals and musk to me. So I know a lot of people who really love this, but this one just made me kind of nauseous. And my last fail is the Ceremonia Perfume de la Tierra. My amazing friend Nick. She's Nicolette Panisi on Instagram. I'll put her page in the description box below as well as Rachel's. They're two of my closest content creator friends. And Nick was so sweet. She brought this sample bottle of Ceremonia's perfume to dinner when I was in New York. And I'm glad that I didn't spend the $65 on the full size because unfortunately this one doesn't work out for me, but I think a lot of people are gonna love this. When I smell it on other people, I love it and I think it smells amazing. It just doesn't work with my particular body chemistry. So the primary notes are peach, bergamot, and pink pepper. And the more detailed description says, this perfume reveals the duality between nostalgia and modernity, blooming with soft woody notes and a delicate hint of bergamot alongside subtle whispers of pink pepper, violet, vetiver, and driftwood. It blossoms into the woodiness of a vibrant, humid rainforest. I love that it's unisex. I love that it's supposed to reflect certain scent memories of Mexico City. I think that's really cool. Smelling the bottle, I definitely smell like the citrus notes, the woody notes, these like clean, fresh notes, earthy notes. Yeah, very earthy, very earthy. Actually, you know what? This reminds me now that I think of it of Diptyque Philocycos, but that was more of like green stems and a little fig. This is more like green stems, some aquatic notes, a lot of earthiness, almost like dirt. I definitely get the pink pepper and citrus. Unfortunately for me, if there's citrus in a perfume, it just goes full cleaning product on my body. Whatever chemistry is working with my body ain't working with it so well. And I just end up smelling like cleaning product when I wear this, which is such a bummer because when I smell it on other people, I'm like, ugh, it's intoxicatingly good. But on me, I smell like Pine Sol. Yeah, that's a bummer, but I will be passing this to a friend. And then the last two fails are two concealers that I put in my new concealer video, and I'll leave that video linked in the description box as well. The Makeup by Mario concealer was really beautiful from far away. Like it totally has medium coverage. It blurs the under eyes from far away. It looks gorgeous, but up close, it was a creasy mess. The second I moved my face, it just settled into lines, and then up close, it emphasizes texture that I don't even have on my skin. It just looked like almost curdled under my eyes up close. So I really like the texture of it. It's somewhere in between thin and thick. It's really spreadable, but it wasn't too slippery or thin. It's just that it really emphasized texture. There also wasn't a shade match for me. The shade 160 was way too light. And then the next deepest shades after that were super dark and very, very yellow. It's a super yellow shade range. So I was definitely bummed by that. And then the last product in my fails of this month was the Tower 28 concealer. I know so many people that absolutely love that. And it seems like if you loved the Kosas Revealer concealer, you would probably love the Tower 28. If you didn't like the Kosas Revealer concealer, like myself, then you probably won't like the Tower 28 because they are quite similar. But the Tower 28 concealer, it just really settled into lines. It was creasy. It didn't blur my under eyes. It also didn't hydrate them. It set down to an almost dry finish on my skin. The Makeup by Mario did as well. So when you say that it's a hydrating concealer, but then it sets down to a dry finish, that to me doesn't go hand in hand. Whereas my Live Tinted concealer and my Fit Glow concealers, out of my big concealer video, those were the only two concealers that stayed feeling kind of tacky and bouncy on the skin. Every other concealer dried down to a totally dry finish. So the texture, finishes, and shade ranges of those two concealers just didn't work for me, but I'm so glad to finally have a couple extras in my routine that I can share for you. I hope you like this sassy little favorites video. If you want to keep watching my content, I'll leave a video on the screen for you. And if you like this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more honest, detailed, and critical reviews. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.